Okay, when was your last beer? Finger with your eyes only. Low. You're under arrest for DWI. All right, sir, have a seat for me.
About DWIs. Karen Chemical Dependency Collaboration united together to solve the problems of drugs and alcohol. Overview of the presentation. What is a DWI? How can police test how much alcohol is in your blood? What should you do if police want to stop you? What is the punishment for getting a DWI? What is probation? What is a felony? What is a DWI? DWI means driving while impaired. Sometimes people call it a DUI, which is the same thing as a DWI. In the United States, it is against the law to drive a car if you have more than 0.08% alcohol in your blood. A DWI is a very serious crime in the United States. Why is it against the law to drink and drive? Drinking alcohol affects your brain and body and makes it unsafe to drive a car. When someone drinks alcohol, it can cause these things: not able to see clearly, not able to think clearly, lose control, drowsiness, you want to sleep, makes your reaction time slow, distracted and not able to pay attention to driving. Facts about DWIs. Every year, 25,000 people are arrested for a DWI in Minnesota. Almost 100 people are killed by drunk drivers in Minnesota every year, and 2,200 people are injured. In the U.S., more than 10,000 people are killed by drunk drivers every year. How can police test how much alcohol is in your blood? Police can test how much alcohol is in your blood by having you blow into a machine or by a urine or blood test. Police can also test your vision and coordination, for example, to see if you can walk straight. If the alcohol in your blood is over 0.08%, you will get a DWI. If you are under 21 years old, you can get an underage drinking and driving if the alcohol in your blood is less than 0.08%. The more alcohol you have in your blood, the more severe the punishment is for a DWI. How much alcohol equals 0.08%? The amount of alcohol in your blood from drinking alcohol is different for every person depending on your weight, your gender, your genetics. Usually, more than one drink in 1 hour will equal 0.08%. How much is one drink? 12 fluid ounces of regular beer, but some beer is stronger, or 5 fluid ounces of wine, or 1.5 fluid ounces of liquor. What should you do if police want to stop you? If the police want to stop you, they will turn on their lights. You are required to pull over and stop if you see any emergency vehicles behind you, including a police car, fire truck, or ambulance. Pull over to the side of the road as soon as possible and stop your car, but make sure that you stop in a safe place. Roll down your window and stay in your car. Put both of your hands on your steering wheel. The police officer will ask for your driver's license and insurance card. The law requires that you have your driver's license and insurance card with you when you are driving. What should you do if police want to stop you? If the police officer thinks you have been drinking alcohol or using drugs, they may ask you to blow into a machine to test how much alcohol is in your blood, or they may ask you to get out of your car and do other tests, like touching your finger to your nose or walking in a straight line. If the officer determines you have been drinking, they will arrest you. You will be handcuffed, and the police may search your vehicle. The police will take you to jail or the police station, and your car will be towed. Do not try to run away or resist the police officer. This will result in additional criminal charges. What should you do if you don't speak English? It is helpful if you can let the officer know that you do not speak English and what language you speak. You will not get in trouble for not speaking English. The officer may try to find an interpreter or use a phone interpreter, but they might also try their best to communicate with you in English. The officer can give you a ticket even if they don't have an interpreter. What is the punishment for a DWI? A DWI is a serious crime with severe punishments, which can include fines, jail, revocation of driver's license, probation, have to go to court and see a judge. What is the punishment for a DWI? Punishment depends on your alcohol level, how many times you got a DWI, if the DWI is a probation violation, if you have other criminal records. Punishments for a DWI are more severe if you have had a child in your car. Punishment for DWI, first time. If the alcohol in your blood is under 0.16%, you will be charged with a misdemeanor crime, up to 90 days in jail, and or a $1,000 fine. Driver's license revoked for 90 days. If the alcohol in your blood is 0.16% or over, you will be charged with a gross misdemeanor, up to 1 year in jail, and or a $3,000 fine. Driver's license revoked for 1 year, or requirement to use an ignition interlock device. Getting more than one DWI. If you get more than one DWI, the punishment is more severe each time. If you get 4 DWIs within 10 years, you will be charged with a felony. What is a felony? A felony means you have committed a very serious crime and can be sentenced to state prison for a year or more. When you have a felony, it can affect your ability to get a job, public housing, or to vote. If you have a felony, you might not be eligible to get U.S. citizenship. If you get a felony, you can be deported. Punishment for refusing a breath test. If you refuse to take a breath test when you are stopped by the police, you may be charged with a gross misdemeanor, up to 1 year in jail, and or a $3,000 fine. Driver's license suspension up to 1 year, or 1 year using an ignition interlock device. Punishment for underage drinking and driving. If you are under 21, even if your blood alcohol content is under 0.08%, you may be charged with fines up to $1,000, up to 1 year in jail, charged with the crime of underage drinking and driving, revocation of your driver's license. The crime will remain on your driving record for at least 15 years. What is probation? Probation means that you have committed a crime and you are not in jail, but you are under the supervision of the judge. People who get a DWI are often put on probation. When you are on probation, you are required to meet with a probation officer who is watching you to make sure that you do not break the law and follow all the rules. A probation officer works with the judge and is different than a police officer. The probation officer will tell you the rules that you have to follow when you are on probation. For example, do not break the law. Do not drink or use drugs. Follow all the requirements from the judge. People can be put on probation for 1 year or several years, depending on the crime. Probation officers can require you to take an alcohol or drug test any time to see if you have been drinking. Probation officers might also require you to get treatment to help you stop using drugs or alcohol. What is a probation violation? A probation violation means that you did something against the rules and requirements of your probation. If you do something against the rules of your probation, you can be put in jail or receive additional punishment. How do you get your driver's license back? After you get a DWI and have completed all court requirements related to your punishment, these are the things you have to do to get your driver's license back. Pay a $680 fee, pass a DWI knowledge test, complete a Minnesota driver's license application and pay the fees, complete a chemical health assessment program. Ignition interlock. If you get a DWI, you might be required to have a machine in your car called ignition interlock. If you have this machine in your car, you cannot start your car without blowing into the machine. The machine tells how much alcohol is in your blood. If you have alcohol in your blood, your car will not start, and the machine can notify the police and your probation officer that you have been drinking. Car insurance. If you get a DWI, the cost for your car insurance will be more expensive for many years. What happens if you are arrested? If a police officer determines you have committed a crime, they can arrest you. You will be handcuffed, and if you are driving, the police may search your vehicle. The police will take you to jail or the police station, and if you are driving, your car will be towed. Do not try to run away or resist the police officer. This will result in additional criminal charges. What happens if you are arrested? If you are arrested for a DWI, they may ask you to take another test of how much alcohol is in your blood. You may have to stay in jail for several days or weeks until your court date. If you want to get out of jail before your court date, you have to give the court a large amount of money, like $10,000, which is called bail money. The court will keep the money temporarily and give it back to you after you attend your court date. When you are in jail, the police will take all of your possessions and you will have to wear jail clothing. They will give you your possessions back when you are released. What happens when you are in jail? In Ramsey County, after you are arrested, you will be able to make 3 short phone calls for free. After that, you can use the phone, but you need to have money in your account to pay for it. It is possible for family to visit you during visiting hours, but your family will have to arrange it. The information on visiting hours and how to visit inmates in Ramsey County is available through the Sheriff's Office website. What happens when you are in the Ramsey County Jail? Kitchen staff prepare meals every day. Unless you have medical or religious requirements, you cannot request special food. There is a lot of downtime when people are in jail. Inmates spend the majority of their time in a locked cell with other inmates where they have a bed and there is a toilet. Inmates are allowed to go outside of their cells for 6 hours every day, 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon. You will not have an interpreter very often, only when there are important legal or medical details to share with you. This presentation was created by the Karen Chemical Dependency Collaboration in partnership with the City of Maplewood and produced by the City of Maplewood.